Hey guys, how's it going today? Hope it's going well for you. This is the only video that I'll be making for Friday. So this is the video for Block 2 Dragon Day 13. So the only class I'm making a video for today is Block 2, and this is for Dragon Day 13. The rest of my classes, it's review, and there's really nothing for me to video because you all already know how to do it, okay? So if you're in my other blocks and you're watching this video, just work on those packets, and I have the instructions on the website, okay? On what to do. If you are in my block 2, then this video is for you, alright? So recently, guys, we have been learning about not just the area, but taking a weird, wonky shape like this and finding the area for it, right? Now, the only difference between what we've been doing and this new assignment that you all have is that you're not going to have tiles this time. What you all are used to having are these tiles here. Something happened over there. What you're used to having are these tiles here, right? And if you remember our steps for finding rectilinear area like this, step 1 is to do what? Split the shape, right? So let's say I split it right here. Now I have 2 new shapes, right? I have this square up here and I have this rectangle down here, right? Step 2 is what? Find the dimensions, right? And how you were finding the dimensions is by counting the tiles. And remember, dimensions is just a fancy word for length and width. Length is how tall, width is how wide. So if I was finding the length of this shape, I would go 1, 2, 3, and it would be 3 units, right? To find the width, I would go across 1, 2, 3, and that would be 3 units. I found the dimensions for this shape because if it's 3 over here, what should it be over here? 3, right? Your length. And if your width is 3 up here, what should it be at the bottom? 3, right? So I found the dimensions for my first shape, but remember I have a second shape down here. The length of it is going to be 1, 2, 3 again. But let's see, what is the width going to be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the width's going to be 6. So it's going to look something like that, right? Step 1, split the shape. Step 2, find the dimensions. What's step 3? You gotta find something. Find the area, right? Find the area. We're gonna find the area of both of these shapes. Remember, area takes place on the inside, so we what? We multiply, right? We multiply the length times the width, right? Area equals length times width. What is the length of the square? 3. What is the width? 3. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 3, which is going to give me what? 9 units squared. Guys, do not forget to square your area and to include your units. It's not just 9, all right? It's 9 units squared because we're dealing with area and these are units, okay? I found the area for my square. Now I need to find the area for my rectangle, right? My length is what? 3. Good. What is my width? 6. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 6, which gives me 18. But it's not just 18. It's 18 units squared, right? Okay. Step 3, we did it. We found the area. What's step 4? Can you remember? Step 4. Add the area, right? Add the area. Good. So, step 4 is add the area. What are the areas that I have? 9 and 18. So I'm going to add 18 plus 9, and that is going to give me 27 units squared. So my area of this entire thing is 27 units squared because I followed those 4 steps. Remember, step 1, split the shape, right? Step 2, and not to split it, but split it into 2 rectangles or squares, right? Step 2, find the dimensions, right? Step 3, find the area, right? Step 4, add the area. Guys, you are going to do the same exact steps even when you don't have tiles, all right? So even when there are no tiles and you just have a shape that looks something like this, you're going to do the exact same thing. Now let me give this, because when you have a shape like that, they're going to give you some dimensions, all right? So I'm going to give you some dimensions. Let's see, 10 inches. Let's make this 3 inches. Let's make this entire thing 8 inches. And then 10 inches. Let's make this 3 inches. Okay, I think that's gonna be okay. All right, so let's say you have a shape like this. All right, it's a weird, wonky shape. It's not a rectangle, right? Or it's not a square. So what are you gonna have to do first? What is the first step? Split the shape, right? Split the shape into 2 different shapes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to split the shape right here. See where I split the shape? All right. So I did step 1, I split the shape. Step 2, all right, find the dimensions. Now, this is where it's going to get just a tiny bit tricky, guys. Just a tiny bit. Not too bad, though. Just follow me and follow what I do, okay? Now, to find the dimensions of this shape, first, what I'm going to do, so I don't get confused, is I'm going to draw the shapes separately. So I have this up here, and I have a shape that looks like this down here. So I'm just going to draw these over here. That way I'm not going to get confused, all right? Now, let's look at these dimensions here for a second. Let's look at this shape right here. I have at least 1 dimension. Actually, let's start with this shape down here. Let's start with this shape down here. Because I have both dimensions for this shape. Do y'all see that? What is the length of this shape down here? It's 3 inches, right? So I'm going to write 3 inches as my lengths for that shape. So if it's 3 inches over here, that means it has to be 3 inches over here, right? Boom. What is my width? My width is 10 inches, right? If it's 10 inches down here, that means it's got to be 10 inches up here. 10 inches. And I'm going to write it over here as well. So I have all the dimensions for this shape over here. You got that? Now let's move to this one up here. This is where it just gets a little tricky, but not too bad. All right, just stay with me. What dimension do I have for this shape, for sure? I have the width, right? And the width is 3 inches. So I'm going to write 3 inches over here. See that? 3 inches and 3 inches. See how I did that? Now, here comes just a smidge tricky part, but it's really not that bad. All right? When I split this shape, y'all see this? This whole entire side used to be how many inches? It used to be 8 inches, right? But when I split this shape, I split this side. I split this length, didn't I? It used to be 8, but then I split it, and so it's not 8 anymore. So I'm going to cross out 8 because it's not 8 anymore because I split it. Do you see where I split it? Now, but it used to be 8, right? What did we say that the length was for this shape down here? It was 3 inches, right? So out of that 8 inches, how many have I taken away? I've taken away 3, right? So in order to find what this length is going to be, what do you think I'm going to have to do? It used to be 8. I took 3 here. I'm going to have to subtract. I'm going to have to say that original 8 minus 3. And what is 8 minus 3? 8 minus 3 is going to be 5 inches. Do you see why I'm subtracting 8 minus 3? This whole entire thing, guys, used to be 8 inches, right? This whole entire thing was 8 inches. And then I split it, and this was 3 inches. So it's like I took 3 away from 8. 8 minus 3 is 5 inches, so I am going to make the length over here 5 inches. And look at this. 5 plus 3 gives me what? It gives me 8. Do you see how that works? This length and this length combine to make this huge one. All right? So since this is 5 inches over here, I'm going to make it 5 inches over here as well, all right? Okay, do I have my dimensions for both shapes? Yes, I do. Step 3, just as normal, find the area. What is the length of this shape? 5. What is the width? 3. So I'm going to multiply 5 times 3. 5 times 3 gives me 15 inches squared, and I wrote it right here. What is the length of this shape? 3. What is the width? 10. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 10, which is going to give me 30 inches squared. Have I found the areas for both shapes? Yes. Step 4, add the areas. What are my areas? 30 inches squared and 15 inches squared. So I'm going to do 30 plus 15, which is going to give me 45 inches squared. So the area for this entire thing is 45 inches squared, okay? Let's do another example together. Because I know that finding those dimensions can be a little difficult. Okay, let's say that we have a shape like this, and let me go ahead and do the dimensions. Okay, let's say that we have a shape like this, and here we have the dimensions here. You see we have 5, 8, 1, and 2, right? What is step 1? Split the shape. So let's go ahead and split this shape. I am going to split it this way. All right, are you with me so far? All right, I'm going to go ahead and draw these shapes down here. That way I have them. And I don't get too bad off confused. Hold on, let me draw these a little better. All right, so I'm going to draw them separately. That way I don't get confused with all this over here. All right? Okay, now I'm going to start with this one down here because I have the dimensions for both of them, don't I? Because even though this is split, I have the length and I have the width. So I'm going to start off with the one that I have both dimensions for, okay? So the length is what? 2 inches. That means it's going to be 2 inches over here. And the width is what? See that? 1 inch. So that means it's going to be up here. 1 inch, right? And I'm going to put them over here, my dimensions. All right, so do I have the length and width for my first shape? Yes, I didn't have to find anything because it was already given to me, right? Now, let's go up here. What dimension do I have for this shape? I have the width, right? The width is 5 inches. So I'm going to write 5 inches as my width. And notice how I put it down here on my separate shape too. 5 inches is the width. Now, what dimension did we split when I split this shape? I split the length over here, right? What did it used to be? It used to be 8 inches, right? But then I split it. Do you see right here where I split it? Okay, and after I split it, what did we say this length was down here? It was 2 inches, right? So how am I going to find what this is then? If it used to be 8 inches and I took 2 of those inches away, what am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to subtract, right? What am I going to subtract? 8 minus 2. What is 8 minus 2? 6 inches. And then if I add 6 plus 2, what do I get? I get that total of 8 inches. Do you all see that? So in order to find this, I had to subtract what this length was from that total length because I have to. Do you see that? Do you see where I cut it there? So that's why you have to do that. If this is 6 inches over here, what does this have to be? 6 inches, right? I'm going to write it over here as well. Do I have the dimensions for all my shapes now? Let's look over here. Do I have the length and width for this one? Yes. Do I have the length and width for this one? Yes. So now what's step 3? Find the area, right? So I'm going to find the area of both of these shapes. What am I going to multiply to find the area of this one? My length of 2 and my width of 1. 2 times 1 equals 2 inches squared. See that? 2 times 1 equals 2 inches squared. What am I going to multiply for this shape to find the area? The length, which is 6, times the width, which is 5. 6 times 5. What is 6 times 5? 30 inches squared. So I have 30 inches squared and I have 2 inches squared. Now what do I have to do? What's step 4? Because I found the area for both shapes, right? So what do I have to do now? Add the areas, right? I have an area of 30 plus my area of 2. It's going to give me 32 inches squared. So the area for this entire thing is 32 inches squared. Do you all see that? So in order to find that lost dimension, in order to find that dimension that you split, because anytime you do it, you're probably going to end up splitting a dimension, all right? Anytime that you split the dimension, all you have to do, guys, is subtract that big number from your smaller one. All right? That's all you have to do. All right. Let's do an example in our worksheet, okay? Let's see here. Okay, so your first worksheet says, let's get started. This has already got it split for you. Hold on, let me get the lid put on. This has already got it split for you. All right, so all you're gonna have to do is start with step 2. You're gonna have to find your dimensions, okay? Then you're gonna have to add your areas, and then you're gonna have to find your area, step 3, and then you're gonna have to add your area, step 4. So it's already done step 1 for you, all right? So let's look at number 1 here. here we have a weird shape that's been split. It's split right here. Y'all see that? Let's find our dimensions, all right? For which side of the shape do I have both dimensions for? This side or this side? The right side or the left side? Or I'm not sure if it's going to be right, but this side or this side? I have the dimensions for this side, right? What is my length for this side? 5, right? So I'm going to write 5 over here. And I'm going to go ahead and draw my shape separately. I forgot to do that. I'm going to put one here and one down here. And my length is 5. Y'all see that? 5 and 5. What's my width of the shape? 3, right? Yeah. So here I have lengths of 5 and widths of 3, and I put them over here. Do y'all see that? Now, over here, we do have a dimension, but we're also missing one. What dimension do I have? I have the length, right? What is the length of the shape? 3. All right, so I'm going to write a 3 and a 3. I'm going to put my 3 over here too. See how I did that? 3 and 3, and I put my 3 over here. All right? Now, I don't have my width, right? I don't have a width for this shape because when that shape got split, the width got split, right? What did the width used to be? What's that big number there? 10, right? The width used to be 10. And then, how much of that 10 did I take away over here? That 3, right? So we're going to do 10 take away 3. Because the width of this over here was 3. Do y'all see that? This was 3. So I'm going to do 10 take away 3. What is 10 take away 3? 7, right? So what is going to be my width for this shape? It's going to be 7. 7, 7, 7, 7. So now let's look. Do I have all the dimensions for this shape? Yes. Do I have all the dimensions for this shape now? Yes. So now what can I do? Step 3, find the areas, right? In order to find the area for this shape, what am I going to multiply? 5, your length, times 3, your width. 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is going to give me 15. Right? How am I going to find the area for this one? 3 your length times 7 your width. 3 times 7. Which is going to give me 21. Right? So I've got 3 times 5 giving me 15, and I got 3 times 7 giving me 21. Are you with me? Now I can do step 4, add the areas. What are my areas? 21 and 15. So I'm going to add 21 plus 15. And that is going to give me 36. And so my area is going to equal 36. And we'll just say units squared. All right. Let's do... I'll do this one with you as well, okay? Let's do this one together, and then I'll do this as an example, and then we'll be done, all right? Okay, so the shape has already been split for us, so I'm going to go ahead and draw those shapes out separately. Got a big one here. I got a small one up here, right? So I drew my big one and my small one. Now, so remember, we're doing step 2, find the dimensions, right? So which shape already has, well, actually, they both do on this one. So this one's not going to be too bad because you're not going to have, yeah. Okay. They both already have their dimensions, don't they? All right, so let's just go ahead and focus on this one. What is the length? 1. And what is, which means it's going to be 1 over here. And what is the width? 4. Okay. Over here, what is the length? 8. It's going to be 8 over here. And what is the width? 12. Now, the reason, guys, that we're able to do this is because, okay, we would have had to, if it would have given us the full measurement for this big line, then we would have had to do some subtraction. But it didn't. It went on ahead and gave us the measurement for this shorter line here. Okay? But what you can do is you can see that 12 plus this 4, what would have been the measurement of this big huge line here? What would it have been? If we add 12 plus 4, we're going to get 16. So it would have been, that full thing would have been 16, right? But because it already gave us the measurement of the short line, we're not going to have to do any subtraction here, okay? So I'm going to write my dimensions on my, I have the dimensions for both of my shapes, so now I can find the area. It looks like we have 1 times 4 for 1, which is going to give us 4. We're going to do 8 times 12 over here. Now, that's a tougher one. That's going to give us what? 96. Now I can do step 4. Add the area. We're going to add 96 plus 4. And that's going to give us 100. So our area is going to be 100 units squared. All right. So that's how you would do both of those. And I'm glad that we did that example. That way you can see that, guys, the only time that you're going to subtract is if you actually split the width. And in this one, the width was split, but it gave you what the shorter line, what the shorter side was. Okay? So that's why we didn't have to subtract on that one. Okay, now let's flip over to try it by yourself. Try it by yourself. You're gonna do the same steps, except for you're gonna have to do step 1 where you split it. So on number 1, we have this weird shape, and I'm going to split it. Right? No. Let me see. Yeah. Right down the middle here. That's where I'm going to split it. All right. I'm going to draw out my shapes. Like a rectangle. I have like a square. Drew out my shapes. All right, step 1, we did it. Split the shape. Step 2, find the dimensions, right? Step 2 is find the dimensions. All right, so which one of these do I have both dimensions for? Do I have both dimensions for this one? Do you see a length for this one? I don't. Do you see a length for this one? Yeah, do you see a width for this one? Yes, so down here we only have the width. Up here we have both of them, right? So I'm going to do this one first. What is the length of this shape? 2, right? So if it's 2 on one side, that must mean it is 2 on the other side. Now remember, this whole line used to be 4, right? But we split that, so it's not 4 anymore. I'm going to put kind of a line through it because it's not 4 anymore, right? Now we split it, and this part of the line is 2, right? So if the length is 2, what's the width? 9. Down here, so I'm going to write 2 and 2, 9 and 9. I'm going to, don't forget to put your dimensions up here as well, okay? Do I have all my dimensions for this shape? Yes, so now I have to move down here. Now I do have one dimension, I do have the width. What is the width of this shape? 2, right? Now, do I have the length of this shape yet? No, I don't. So, what am I going to do to find the length of this shape? Well, what used to be the measurement of this complete side? Before we split it, what used to be the measurement? It used to be 4, right? But then we split it, right? Then we split that length. And when we split it, how much did I take away from it up here? 2. So what am I going to do to this 4? I'm going to subtract 2. 4 minus 2? 2. So what is this length going to be? 2, right? And if it's 2 on one side, it's going to be 2 on the other. Now, do I have all the dimensions for this shape? Yes, I do. Do I have all the dimensions for this shape? Yes, I do. So now what do I have to do? Step 3. Find the area, right? Find the area. So how am I going to find the area for this shape here? Multiply the length times the width. So 2 times 2. 2 times 2 gives us 4. 2 times 2 gives us 4. How am I going to find the area for this one? The length, which is 2, times the width, which is 9. 9 times 2 gives us 18. 2, we got 18. All right, I put those in the inside because area takes place on the inside. So we multiply, right? Have I found the area for both shapes? Yes, so now I have to do step 4, which is add the area, right? So I'm going to add my area of 18. Whoops, I put 2 down there. It's 4. And 4. 18 plus 4, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So my area is 22 units squared. All right? Guys, that is the end of our lesson today. I know that this finding rectilinear area like this can be a little challenging, just simply for that part where we're finding that extra dimension, all right? But if you can remember, if you split it, you got to subtract it, all right? If you split it, you got to subtract it. If you split it, you got to subtract it. And what you're going to do, you're going to subtract that bigger number from that smaller width, all right? You're going to subtract that bigger width or bigger length from that smaller width or that smaller length, all right? If you have any questions whatsoever, I know this can be a little difficult. If you have any questions whatsoever, please send me an email or send me a message on Dojo or send me a Facebook message, and I will do my best to help you to the best of my ability, all right? Do not forget to catch the Spirit Parade today where the teachers are going to be driving in their cars. I'm going to be in it, so look for me. And also, guys, I miss you. Y'all know I miss you. I miss you so much. I wish we could be in school together, but unfortunately we can't. Practice social distancing. Practice washing your hands. Stay healthy, guys. I love you guys, and have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful spring break. Take a week to relax and have fun with your family, and I will see you again, not this coming Monday, but the next Monday. All right, guys? All right. See ya.